Denny saw the point over there.
Yeah.
Well, here we are back for installment number 4 with our coaster.
Yeah. We both have one.
Yeah, this is the one that you did, I think, live, and that was one that you had done before so we could get pictures of it. And we got some gloves here, some Angelus gloves that everybody, I think, may have gotten acquainted with, of just having gloves to put on your hands in this certain era that we live in. And I got some paintbrushes over here, and you got some neat's foot oil and stuff like that. So the first few episodes, the first, 3?
I don't know if it's doing anything.
All right. Let me walk over here and see if it's doing anything.
Did I need to hit the start recording thing on there? Does that matter? There we go.
All right, so we must have had volume.
Sorry, can I?
We'll start again. Maybe you can see us now. Got it all set up. Sometimes the settings on the computers have to be just right. But we've been doing this coaster now that you can see it. If you came from us from Facebook Live, you saw the picture of it on the banner there before we got started. But we did three series of going along of beginner, tooling and carving?
Yes, carving. Yes.
Yep. So if we go to camera 2, we can see the finished product that you got on yours. And it doesn't look like that it's showing up on that either. So that's perfect. Let's go back to 1. I'll climb up a ladder. We're knocking it out of the park, Denny. Why don't you go over what we talked about in the first few while I climb up a ladder?
Okay. Well, what we did, we went through the whole process of tooling this simple project. But everyone's always asking how we finish it. And Tony's going to use some of this new water stain that we have, this diamond water stain. And he's going to paint his. I'm going to show you a traditional Sheridan style finish, which is antique paste and just a resist and a clear coat finish.
I just have some water stain over there that is eco friendly for those that know about being eco-friendly.
Yeah, and that's something that I've never used. I don't dye things very often, so I'm not very well versed in this. And Tony, I believe you are.
I did one video. Well, I watched Kevin and Rusty do one video, fight their way through it. Looks like the battery went on that camera, so I got to find a battery. So just a minute. Why don't you get started about what you're doing on there?
Okay. The first thing I always do is I give this project a light coat of neat's foot oil, and I'm going to do that. And by light, I mean don't saturate it. Just go over it with one light coat. And if you sit there and just rub on it, it's just going to get darker and darker and darker, and it's going to absorb all that oil, and pretty soon it's going to be saturated, and it won't look very well. But you can't see this very well, but it's fairly dark now, but it will lighten up. And I'm going to take a paper towel and wipe off the excess that's on this, which there isn't very much because a piece of raw leather will soak up the oil pretty well.
Yeah, let's see if we can see that camera too now. Oh, let's adjust our focus on there a little bit.
Yeah, we can see
We'll get it reset here.
Yeah. Yeah, there you can see it pretty well.
There we are.
Now this, it looks fairly dark now, but I guarantee tomorrow, when the oil sets and all leaches into all the fibers, it's going to lighten up considerably. But I generally let that set for 30 or 45 minutes. But since we're on camera here, I'm going to take a hair dryer, put a little heat to this, and it'll make that oil leach through the fibers a little bit faster. And I don't need to do very much of it, just a little bit.
I'm trying to put my gloves on here and get to painting something. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? Mix up a purple? To paint our flower?
I think purple would look good on that flower.
All right, let's see what I can make happen. Do I need to oil mine or anything?
If it was me, I would.
I know when we were doing it, it didn't really change anything with it, but that's just going to add some.
It'll add some color to the raw part of the leather.
Okay.
So
Let's do it. I'm just going to use your lightly
Yeah.
oiled one.
yeah, it won't take very much.
All right.
Yeah, I would call that good.
All right. Do you need your
No.
All right. Let's set our neat's foot oil out of the way. Am I drying this off?
Yeah, you can wipe off the excess.
Okay.
here.
So where's everybody at today? We got any people letting us know where they're from yet? Have they been using the tooling pattern that we shared on the last video? On the download now that you get on there, you're going to get the pattern for this and another flower one that you drew out, and then also you're going to get the tools that Denny used, or that we used to do the backgrounding, beveling, the camouflage tool, in the areas that you use those tools on.
Right.
Pretty handy.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, my oil is set enough where I can do my next step, which is going to be a resist. And all a resist does is it keeps this antique stain from actually penetrating the pores of the leather. It will just sit on top. But there again, I'm just going to do a light coat of this, but I'm going to make sure everything is covered. I'm going to turn it a little bit, spray it a little bit more. And that's all I'm going to do as far as that resist goes, but I am going to use a hairdryer on it and dry it, because this is one step you do not want it to be wet before you go on.
All right. Oh, did you come unplugged?
Yeah, that's all right. I'll do it.
All right. I'm going to mix up some paint. Uh-oh. I guess I should say water stain, not paint.
Yeah.
Let's shake it up here.
Yeah, you don't want to put a resist on yours, because you do want that to penetrate the pores of the leather.
So the cool thing about this water stain is it is water-based, and it mixes pretty well together. I had my daughter in here. If you're friends with Rusty on Facebook, he posted a picture of Chad and myself and my daughter mixing up some paints, and she mixed some together and made a purple, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we made her a belt out of it.
Yeah.
So what was the oil doing whenever we do the antique and stuff like that? It's going to make it
The oil just gives the leather, this vegetable tan leather, a little bit of color. It gives it a golden color as opposed to that pink that it is.
Right.
Plus, it lubricates the fibers of the leather. If we hadn't have oiled it first and we put this resist on, it would never take any oil to speak of after that, because we've actually sealed the leather.
Oh, it sealed the pores up.
So if you're going to oil it before you do any of this other.
What do you think about that?
Oh, that's pretty purple.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Let's see it there. So all I did, we have this Fenici. I used a fuchsia, and then I used a blue. Mixed them together, and that's what we got. So there we go. All right. We'll see what you keep going.
I'll do my next step.
All I'm doing is going to use paintbrushes and some other little dauber deals to paint it on. So mine's pretty straightforward.
Okay, and I'm going to use this antique gel. You can use an antique paste if you want. I used to use it a lot exclusively, but I started using this gel, and it does the same thing. It's just easier for me to use. It's a matter of personal preference, I do believe, but I use this most of the time now. But I'm just going to squirt a little bit on here.
So we did that quick shine as a resist. What was the point of that? That was our question. Somebody got in a little bit late.
The resist is to keep the antique paste from actually penetrating the pores of the leather. It will just set on top, but it will settle in all the low spots, the cuts and the background areas, and all the pear shaded areas and all like that. But you've got to put that resist on, and then it's got to be dry, and then you put this paste on. But I'm just using a dauber here, and I'm rubbing this paste around. You want to make sure you get it in all of the little nooks and crannies in your tooling. If you don't, when you wipe the top of it off, those parts are going to be left uncovered. But
Did you bring enough paper towels for all that wiping?
I did, and it doesn't take much on a small project like this. If you take a big project like a saddle or something, you're going to be using a lot of paper towels or whatever you use to wipe off the excess.
So you're using the antique paste? Antique gel, the vintage gel. Before we would use antique paste. What makes you like the gel better than...
The gel is easier to use. You can just squirt it out of the bottle. The antique paste, you've got to dip it out like peanut butter.
Like peanut butter, he says.
Yeah, like peanut butter.
Hey, Liz.
And
hey, guys.
but they do exactly the same thing, and they work just about equally well.
Do they?
The paste and the gel?
Yes, they do.
What's up, everybody? What are we learning about today?
We've done this coaster project. We've been doing beginner carving, and we have this project going on, and now we have it all carved out, and we're just finishing it in different ways. So I have our water stain, and
the new Finichis.
yeah, so
Nice.
I'm painting it on there. It's very eco-friendly.
Is it?
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, it flows right out of the bottle. Real nice.
That's
I
nice.
would be
Yeah.
sarcastic.
No,
Never.
Okay, now I've got my my antique gel is all spread around, and you don't really need to let this set very long, but I let it set a minute or two. But then I'll take a paper towel and I'll fold it. I won't just wad it up, because you don't want to wipe all of this. You don't want to scrub it and get all of your antique out of those low areas. You just want to wipe it off the surface. But there, I've just done one wipe, and you can see that you're gaining a little bit of color there.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it does. It makes a big difference. It makes it look like you've almost dyed the background here, but you haven't. But next, I'll take a piece of clean sheepskin, and very lightly, I'll just rub over it, and that'll get a lot of that excess off. And then I'll go over it with another clean paper towel and wipe that down. And that's it's colored. That's your basic finish. After that sets a little while and dries, then I will go over it with a top coat. And the resist that I used is Masters Quick Shine. You can use any clear coat that you want, basically. The old go-to was Neat Lack, I think is what they call it. They don't make Neat Lack anymore. Plus, it's a wipe-on. Works great for a resist. If you use a wipe-on as a top coat, you'll wash a lot of your antiquing back off. So I like this aerosol. Works really well.
Yep, so either this or if you've got an airbrush set up, you can spritz whatever finish you want on over it.
Yeah, just any clear coat, as long as it's just to seal what you've done in. But anyway, I'm going to let this set for a little bit while Tony's finishing.
you're gonna talk about my painting over here. Got my flower kind of purple.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see there. We have a question here. Do you have any issues with the water-based dye turning a metallic color? I don't know that I've never tried to add any metallic in. I wonder if you could take...
I think what they're getting at is when you use an alcohol-based dye, if you really saturate the leather, you will end up with some metallic colors on it. And those are actually metals that are in the pigment.
It's too much pigment.
Yes, you've used too much dye.
Yeah, you need to start buffing.
All right, I'm going to paint my flower center with some hazelnut brown. What do you think about that?
Sounds nutty.
Or I got
wait
red.
with bated breath.
Or I got blue or tangerine.
What are flower centers? Yellow?
Well, you got a yellow behind
Most
you?
of them are dark.
I thought they were dark. What color do you want me to paint it?
I don't know.
Liz says yellow,
That's
so...
pollen colored, right?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen, I guess, some yellow flowers in it.
Whatever Liz wants, she's going to get today. So yellow it is. Stacy's coming in with some more questions. Oh, we got a whole swatch ring of colors. I'm guessing that must have been a question. There you go, Liz.
Oh, thanks. Let's see what we got here. How bright are those new dye colors? Can you show fuchsia? Well, yes, I can. I think that's going to be this one.
I also have a belt.
Where am I?
I have a belt up there that's fuchsia.
Here we go.
Compared to an alcohol-based dye,
There we go.
those are really bright.
They really are.
They're almost like a paint.
Hey, I wondered where that camera was.
Watch your head, Liz.
I really want to see the back of my hair today. Yeah, so we've got, this is the yellow. So, this way. This way. This is awkward. Okay, so we've got yellow. This is probably an orange, I'm assuming. Oh, I'm sorry, tangerine.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, red. What do you know?
And they do look different on Herman
I
Oak.
think that's the Herman Oak. Or no.
No, these are imports. So these are going to be imports. You know what? This is difficult. We're going to take that off.
I bet that's fuchsia.
I bet that is. That's bright. Ugh. I don't know. Denny.
Made like
Nobody can
a
help me.
kid's belt. That's fuchsia there.
Yeah, okay. So here we go. It's like playing cards. I feel like I'm playing cards. Okay, so we've got black. We've got blue. We have chocolate brown. Espresso. Fuchsia. It's not labeled, but it's fuchsia. Yeah, so these are done on our import heavyweight tooling leathers. Hazelnut. Mahogany. Navy blue. That one's pretty dark blue. Green.
Pine green.
Pine green. It wasn't specified.
Sorry.
Red. Tangerine. And good old yellow.
And I would say the main difference between the leathers would be the import is a lot whiter colored leather than
Yes.
the Herman Oak, which is more of a pink or a
Skin tone.
yeah.
Peachy color.
Yeah, so it'll probably be a bit darker on the
Yeah.
Herman Oak.
It is, and when you first put it on there, I noticed when you were putting it on there, it is pretty dark, and then it starts to lighten up as it dries,
There you go.
or as it seeps into the leather. And so I took some of it, and I was scraping that we had done on some other color chips, and scraped it with needle, trying to see what kind of scratches on there. And it was, if you just surface scratched, you couldn't scratch through it. I was having to dig in.
Nice. It's got some good penetration.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they dye something, they try to get it to strike all the way through, and that's not a good deal. That's when, especially if they're using alcohol-based dye, that's when they'll get all those metallic colors shining through.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the dyes that we use are not really the dyes that tanneries use. And like the methods of dyeing that we have they've got much more sophisticated ones whenever they put those in those drums and get it to saturate all the way through that leather.
All the rest of the stuff I got in here is green on the leaf parts of it. All right.
Sure. Well, now your stem.
Oh, my flower
Do you want
stem.
your stem to be green?
I mean, some
Or do you
flower
want
stems
it-
are green.
Do you want to differentiate
Okay.
between it and the leaf?
I'll make it brown.
Yeah.
All right.
Get fancy, Tom.
All right. Get fancy. And then I could even antique it after we get done with this.
What?
Yes, you could. And people would be surprised what that would do. It adds another dimension to it when you antique it, because it gets down in your little decorative cuts and all of your...
It really just makes it look complete. You know? Like it kind of finishes everything. It covers a multitude of errors that you may have made.
Right. Exactly. It does. It certainly does.
Yeah.
Especially when you paint, because if you don't get right up to the edge with paint
It's got a really harsh line.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you antique it, that antique kind of fills that in.
Just like we tooled this, just working in a circle. Goes a long way.
You're doing a pretty good job, Tony.
I appreciate that, Denny. You're really encouraging. Has anybody tried this yet? Have we heard that yet? Has anybody been trying this tooling pattern that we put out?
No, not yet.
Nobody said anything. I know some people were excited to get the pattern. There was a guy, Denny, that his daughter had been interested in doing some tooling, and he was going to do this. He was going to do this with her.
We had a fella that was watching this from Nebraska. Mm-hmm. At least this is where his letter was postmarked, in Omaha, Nebraska. But he wrote us a poem.
Oh, did you bring it?
No, I didn't bring it. It's a long poem,
Oh,
but I thought it was kind of neat.
that was anticlimactic there, Denny. Wrote us a poem
He did.
that you're not going to hear.
Some of it rhymes.
That's funny.
Well, just painting along here. I'm just using a little dauber, the paintbrushes that I have are really skinny. Trying to get through here. What are we going to be doing? I think we talked about having an off week maybe on this carving series that we've been doing. And then we'll jump into...
Yeah, we thought what we talked about was doing starting the intermediate to advanced project, which the first one of those, and there are people that when they take this class actually in person, they might come back several times, not just do it once. But the first project I always have them do is a field notes journal. And it's got Sheridan flowers on it, but most of them are a little more involved than this one. They have a lot of ins and outs on them and a lot of leaves. You know, this project just has these chicken necks, and it has a flower with just pretty straight lines. You know, there aren't many issues with it. But when you get into the advanced, we use a few more tools, a few different tools, a little more specific. And we have some different features that we bring in. So we thought we might start that.
So, and we'll give out the patterns just the same way that we did.
Yeah, we'll try to do it the same way. It might be a little more extended than
maybe we can do the part that took us 2 weeks to do. We can do it on the first week.
Do you think? Well, the main thing is in person, it takes the project is bigger. It's got more area. It's got more features on it. So to actually execute this, you know, it takes longer to draw the pattern for one thing, takes longer to cut it, takes longer to bevel it and do the background, you know. And after you've cut it, beveled it, and backgrounded it, the rest of it is all, you just details is all you're doing, and those go pretty fast. But the first few steps take a little while. And
Got some hazelnut here.
All right.
Could have put that in my coffee this morning. There we go.
Yeah, so it won't take us as long, probably as
we'll explain a little bit with the tools, but we did a whole class of just kind of explaining the tools. We can probably skip that because we can say.
Well, we're going to be adding some new tools, which a lot of people aren't familiar with. So we will go through some of that again, but yeah, and we'll be doing some things, using some techniques we hadn't used before.
Do you want to?
You know, this is pretty straightforward what we've done here, and it looks pretty
What
good.
tools did we use on this again, Denny?
We used a beveler, a backgrounder, a pear shader, a veiner, a flower center,
mule's foot,
and camouflage. And I believe that's about it. There were 7 tools we used, and I think in the other class there's 10 or 12 maybe.
Ooh, getting fancy.
Well, yeah, we use instead of a pear shader, we use a thumbprint, and that's the biggest difference. And we also add a smaller beveler because the one beveler that we use is pretty big, and for a lot of these inside corners, you need a smaller beveler. And I think we add, instead of just a straight veiner, we add a scalloped veiner. And I think there are 2 different sizes of mule's foot. And just a couple of other little tools. A flower center liner, a leaf liner. Yeah, there are several tools that we need to explain to people. But that's the thing about the class. That's what the class is all about, is to learn what these tools are and how to use them.
And that's kind of what we're trying to get to people here, is just a little bit of the feel of the class that aren't able to come and do it. You know, if we got people from Scotland and Poland like we've had before, it's really hard to get to Springfield leather all the way from there.
We'd love to have you, but we understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, Denny's already offered up his trailer at his house. If you come, you got a place to stay.
Yeah.
As long as if we go over to Scotland and Poland, we have somewhere to stay if we come over there.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to let this dry just a little bit. It looked pretty good. I painted some little brown spots in the middle of the flower.
Looks very good. Yeah, I would use this
Dryer up.
All right, use the hair dryer.
And I'm going to spray a little top coat on this since it's dry enough now. And it'll be.
We'll all try to make noise at once here.
Yeah, to get this out of the way.
Head, Denny, head.
My head?
Oh, your head was in the way when you were.
Yeah, my head.
Oh, we were just looking at the back of your head.
Maybe.
Now we can probably see it.
Can you release the pattern and link to kit so people can tool along with you?
Oh, on this? So there's not really a kit, but if you go, well, maybe if Stacy can jump back to the first video, open another tab in his browser, and then go back and get the link. It's
Is it this or was it the field notes?
On the pattern itself that you released, there is a list of the tools, the different tools that we use. So you'll have that.
maybe it depends if they're doing the intermediate one or if it's the beginner one. The beginner one is just a 4-inch coaster, and the patterns are on the first, second, and the third video. There's links to them, and when you hit it, I change the link on there. I change the file, and the first picture that you'll get will be what tools that you need for the job that we're doing, or something that's close by.
Yeah.
And we will do the same thing for the field note journal.
Yeah, I'll try and have that before we start. Have that list and have a finished one that people can look at instead of waiting until halfway through the project like we did last time.
That's kind of what we have at the moment.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to take a piece of canvas here right quick and just hit it and shine it up a little bit. Because there is a little bit of wax in these eco-friendly water-staying dyes.
Well, that just burnishes the top of it too. It actually lays the pores of the leather down when you do that, and it gives it a richer look.
The poor leather.
Yeah. Well, all those little pores were actually hair cells. There were little hairs sticking out of all those.
What?
Yes.
You mean this was an animal?
It
What
was
happens?
an animal.
What
yeah.
happens if I take canvas to my hair?
It'll shine it up.
No need to go to the barber. We'll just shine my hair with some canvas. Not bad.
Why don't you antique that now?
Well, how about I take some now I'm gonna hit my.
Yeah, you need to.
Otherwise,
need to put a resist on it.
Otherwise, my vintage gel, my medium brown Phoebe's vintage gel, is going to get into my colors.
It'll just be vintage brown.
It will no longer be green and purple. I wonder if I let it dye, if I spray this quick shine on it now.
That will still go ahead and dye or dry to the color that it would.
Okay, so I'm not going to affect it. It could.
Not noticeably, no.
It'll
affect it in a good way.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Well, like we just said, it's an animal and it's natural, and all of them are going to act a little bit different because just like Liz tans a certain way in the sun, I tan a certain way in the sun. I don't know about. Do you tan a certain way?
Some people get freckles.
I know. I have them. I am aware of those freckles. That
me, I just get age spots now.
All right. You just say when.
Turn it now.
Turn it, he says. Man, I'm glad I got you around. What do you think about that?
Turn it one more time.
All right. Third time's the charm.
One more time. You want to make sure you get it everywhere.
In all different angles of...
Because a lot of your cuts, you can't reach from one direction.
I see.
Now dry that a little bit.
All right.
Don't try this at home, folks. When people talk to me, I always tell them to let it air dry until it's not sticky anymore. But a hairdryer will do the same thing. But I don't want you calling me and saying, hey, I let it air dry for 15 minutes and then did this and it didn't work. Or I used the hairdryer and it didn't work. So don't do that.
Just let it have some patience.
Yeah, that's right.
We should do like a cooking show. We should have had one already done. And oh well. How you feeling?
It's just a little bit tacky still, but you're about there.
What do you think of that purple, Liz?
That's really purple.
I love it.
I think it looks pretty good.
That's probably ready.
All right, now for the big show. All right. Do I need to shake this back up again?
Nah, well, if you want to.
So I'm just going to
That's up
squirt.
to you. If
I'm
you
just going
wanna
to squirt
shake
this
it.
on.
Yeah.
All right. Just squirting it on there.
Just squirt it on there.
Spread it around.
Spread it around.
One
Let it
day,
sit.
I've got paper towels for you.
Okay.
That's probably enough.
All right. See if I can. I always give you a hard time about keeping your hands out of the way. Let's see if I can keep my hands out of the way. Everybody loved me making sure that you were out of the way. They thought it was so kind. One guy even said on one of it, Denny, he said, if that guy would have been pulling my hands around and moving them around, I would have just slapped him upside the head. Which,
Well, I'll remember that. I'll try that next time.
I remember that it's happened before. Denny, you and I have done quite a few videos together of trying to get tooling, and
it's difficult.
it's hard shots to get, and then if you don't get the shots, and then people call in or they leave message, go, we can't see anything because your hands are in the way. So that's why I try really hard to try to get the shots. So
I agree. And it's just like Liz a while ago, It's
Yeah.
hard because everything is a mirror image. And it's even worse. I think it's like a double mirror image. It goes one way and then you got to go back the other way too.
Exactly. You're like, which direction do I?
we're watching on a TV while it shoots.
Right.
You can't see it, but it's right over there, sitting.
So we really like to look at ourselves instead of looking at the camera. If you didn't know that.
It's not. We work with leather. We're not TV personalities. It's hard to
obvious.
do. It's
We're
hard.
other personalities, but not
Yeah.
TV ones.
I have enough personalities as it is. But it's hard to try to do it and look at a camera, and all I do is just keep looking at the lens, going, "Gosh, wish I could look." Oh, there you go. Abigail moves in front of it so we can see her
You
smiling
just
face.
look at her for a while.
Hey. All right. What do you think about wiping it
I
off?
think it's ready.
All right.
Now, don't
No, whoa, whoa.
scrub. Just wipe. Wipe.
What are you doing?
Don't scrub.
There you go.
That's very important. There you go.
You're gonna get all your antique out of the crevices. You don't want that.
I want it off my purple.
Well, you can be more exact later.
Here.
I also can do it wrong so that we can
claim.
have teaching moments. That's what I'm going to claim. Look at these great teaching moments that I've got coming up. I gave you the better side, I think.
Okay. Now take this and just one wipe or two. Do not scrub with that.
All right.
There you go. Okay, now use a clean paper towel and wipe
Because
off
I got
those
some
streaks.
I got some streaks
Put
that
it
are.
in your hand and just wipe the streaks off.
All right, so I'm going to take this in my hand. I'm going to take this in my hand.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
And I'm going to do just one pass. I'm going to do a
just-
circle.
Just wipe. Okay. Yeah, I'd call that good. Show it to the people before you mess it up.
Well, let's put it on this other camera. It gets a little bit closer. Oh, it's not as quite as bright. All right, let's
Well,
go
I
back.
think that looks good.
We'll switch back to the other one again.
You got
There
all
you
the
go.
good lights over there.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of getting... You can definitely see that the flower's a different color. It looks really good. I could have got closer on some of the green and stuff like that. It didn't quite get there, but that's what you
right.
get for trying...
for doing it quick.
For trying to do it
Pretty good.
fast. Give it to... Next time we'll have Liz back here and we can get an expert to paint it.
That's not my thing.
Oh.
Clayton's pretty good though.
Clayton's very
He did that
Remember
peacock
the
up front.
peacock?
I love that. We should hang that peacock back here somewhere.
You know what I was just thinking right now? So if you've seen our catalog, we have comic strips
We do.
that are in there. And
We could tool some comic strips.
our buddy over there, Chad, that's running the cameras, drew all those. What if we drew some on some leather? We got it onto a transfer paper, and so you could try to tool one of it. Maybe we could blow it up and make it a little bit bigger, not like actually the small.
We do like
What do you think about it? And then we can paint it.
We can engrave it and paint it.
Oh, there you go.
No, we got to make him do all the work. I don't know.
All right, let's see. Got that one. I think we had all the questions. Oh, is it possible to get the Italian dye in 4.4 ounces? It comes in the 8.5, and then I think it comes in a liter. So 8.5 ounces and a liter is what it comes in. That's the only sizes that we
Did we not
carry.
get some little ones? We got some little ones of the edge coat.
Edge color is smaller.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that. And then there are some top coats in that as well, that a matte top coat and a gloss top coat. But this has been, I like these Finichi water stains have been really good. And you might find some similar products out there that you have been using, and the market has been opened up on them a little bit to where we can also sell them to you as well as the water stain.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by them.
Yeah. So we may have, a little bit later today, I think we may have Rusty in here with Clayton and an Edge dyeing machine.
What?
I know. Then also, if you go to our website, we have started our 20 Crazy Days sale.
We did.
Yep, so springfieldleather.com. Go underneath the sales tab, or the first banner that loads up on there is the 20 Crazy Days sale. But if you can't find it there, if the banner doesn't show up for you, underneath the sales, there's 20 Crazy Days, and you can find the crazy sale. Wow, English is hard. Crazy sale days. You can find the items on there. So day 1 is today, and you'll see the item on there. It says day 1. Tomorrow it'll be day 1, and day 2 will be on there.
Ooh.
Rhino thread is on there today. I think it's $4.99 for.
That's a steal.
I think it's, what is it, 500 yards or something?
That's
I don't
a lot. That's a big old spool.
know. Maybe 250?
250.
250 yards?
So half of that.
All right. Well, just go back down your football field once, back the other way, and then back to midfield, and then that's how much it is. You can stitch up
Good
a few
job.
knife sheaths.
After
Just a
you're
couple.
done stitching that much thread, you're tired of it. And you want something else in.
You'll move on to day 2. You'll move on to day 2 sale.
Exactly right.
But also on the homepage, if you scroll to the bottom, there's a place to sign up for newsletters, and you can specifically call out that you want the 20 Crazy Day sales. So if you don't want the flash sales and you don't want the other newsletter, which are great as well because the flash sales you're getting every Tuesday. If you just want these sales, or if you already signed up for the other one, just click on the 20 Crazy Days, and we'll send you out an email every day with a new item that's on there. When we get to day number 20, you'll have day 1 through 20 on there to buy, and hopefully all that stuff is still in stock if you've waited that long to purchase.
Okay.
Anything else? Did I forget anything?
Probably.
I'm glad we made it to the end of the video without having all sorts of other issues. Started out kind of rough, couldn't get the camera on. Then the battery ran out of a camera. It's live.
We still have issues.
I know, they're just not with
They didn't show up.
They're not just with the video yet. Was that with a person?
Yeah. Well, let's not be specific.
We've had Liz raid our party here, and hopefully everybody was excited to see Liz.
I was.
I was.
nice.
It's nice to have her around. She's got her Hogwarts mask on. Came back from vacation in Florida.
I did.
Did you have fun down there?
It was wonderful. It was like 95 degrees every day. There was like a slight shower in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know,
How was Mickey?
he was
good?
adorable.
Yeah.
He was super cute. Yep, him and Minnie, they would wave at you and, go by in their little caravan thing. Got to see Goofy a lot. We saw all the princesses, of course.
Well, you
and
took
their
Chris with you, didn't
magnificence.
you?
I did.
Goofy?
Yes. Yes, I did.
All right. Well,
Okay,
thanks
guys.
everybody for joining us.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.